Among the Dingle family, Kyle seemed like one of the least likely people to strike against Emmerdale Farm. However, it appears he has inherited some of his father's rebellious streak, as Cain has frequently found himself in trouble with the law. During today's episode, it was revealed that Kyle's actions were motivated by a desire to get back at his dad. The family has recently faced major disruption after losing both their home and business. Moira eventually gave in to pressure from Joe Tate and sold her share, leading to their departure. Soon after, Robert Sugden and Aaron Dingle were installed as the new tenant farmers. Living conditions at Wishingwell Cottage have been far from ideal. With 7 people sharing the same house, and Cain recovering from prostate surgery while trying to launch a new farming enterprise, he has struggled to find time for his children. Kyle became angry when Cain refused to repair his classic Volkswagen Golf and decided to skip school instead. He concealed himself in a barn and watched as Cain dealt with Cami Hadik's housing problems. After discovering that Cami had nowhere to live and had only been staying temporarily on a sofa, the family searched for a more permanent solution. A caravan had recently arrived at a nearby scrapyard, and Cain believed it would provide suitable accommodation. Moments later, Kyle was caught hiding nearby and assured everyone he would return to school, but he failed to do so. Still upset that his vehicle remained unrepaired, he drove it to the edge of the family's land and set it on fire. Meanwhile, Graham Foster was nearby using binoculars as he continued his search for the mystery arsonist. He was stunned when he noticed flames suddenly rising into the sky. He hurried to the scene and pulled Kyle away from danger, quickly working out who was responsible. At the same time, Moira spotted the blaze and rushed toward it. To protect Kyle, Graham ushered him into his car and concealed him from view. He then told Moira he was heading after the individual he had supposedly seen near the fire. Although she seemed doubtful about his explanation, Kyle managed to avoid detection. While driving along a quiet country road, Graham revealed that the incident had resurfaced painful memories of the crash that claimed the lives of his wife Cheryl and their unborn child. Years earlier, after crashing into a tree while drunk, he had phoned Kim Tate instead of calling emergency services, and the vehicle later exploded. Graham encouraged Kyle to admit what he had done, warning that he could not keep acting recklessly. He made it clear that if Kyle refused to tell Cain and Moira the truth, he would do it himself. The question now is whether Kyle will confess. Cain's actions leave a lasting impact in Emmerdale, shedding light on a series of shocking events. Determined to uncover who was behind the recent incidents, Robert and Aaron questioned several villagers, but repeatedly focused on the wrong suspects. Ross and Sam initially appeared suspicious, but their secretive behavior was actually because Ross had been teaching Sam some dance moves. It was certainly not the explanation anyone expected. Kev was quickly ruled out as a suspect after details emerged regarding his latest spell behind bars, while Cami's nervous reactions whenever the barn fires were discussed were simply because he had been secretly staying in one of the buildings. The real culprit was Kyle, whose growing fascination with fire appears far from over. After Cain rejects an opportunity to spend time with him, Kyle begins to fear that his father no longer enjoys his company. Those feelings deepen when he overhears Cain complaining that his son keeps skipping school and obsessing over repairing his car. Later, a lighter slips from Kyle's bag, leaving him struggling with the temptation to use it once again. Not long afterwards, Graham notices smoke in the distance and rushes to investigate, only to discover Kyle watching his Volkswagen Golf engulfed in flames. After rescuing him from danger, Graham realizes he has found the person responsible for the fires. Kyle eventually explains that his destructive behavior stems from the difficulties he has faced and the turmoil affecting his family. When Robert arrives at the scene, Kyle quickly hides inside Graham's vehicle to avoid being exposed. Later on, Kyle confides in Graham about the reasons behind his actions. Graham listens carefully and offers his support, but insists that Kyle must tell Cain and Moira the truth. Cain's growing distance from his son may soon become a source of regret, especially as Graham takes steps to help Kyle rebuild his life by encouraging him to join the cadets. The big question is how Cain will react if he discovers the truth. Andrew further explained that Graham is constantly grieving the family life he once hoped to have, but ultimately lost through his own actions. The actor revealed that many of Graham's habits, including his strict wardrobe choices, reflect the emotional scars he carries. His preference for wearing the same style of suit serves as a way of maintaining control while coping with obsessive-compulsive tendencies and post-traumatic stress. According to Andrew, Graham's desire to return to the Tate family stems partly from a longing for connection. Despite their flaws, they represent the family unit he never truly had. He believes Graham is naturally drawn to helping others, particularly vulnerable people, because deep down he is still searching for a sense of belonging and family. A fresh ultimatum from Dr. Todd in Emmerdale could leave Sarah heartbroken. Upcoming episodes will see Charity Dingle facing even greater pressure from Dr. Todd, whose latest demands threaten to expose a long-hidden family secret that could have devastating consequences for Sarah. Charity is currently trapped in a blackmail scheme orchestrated by the manipulative doctor, who is using sensitive information about Sarah and Jacob's child as leverage. Although Charity carried the baby as a surrogate, most people in the village remain unaware that Sarah and Ross are actually the biological parents, following a brief encounter years ago. Todd, however, is fully aware of the truth and is using that knowledge to his advantage. He has warned Charity that unless she hands over a huge sum of money, he will reveal everything. Desperate to keep the secret buried, Charity has been relying on a business agreement involving the Wool Pack to raise the funds needed to satisfy Todd's demands. However, events take a dramatic turn next week when Kim Tate withdraws from the arrangement, leaving Charity with very few options. With time running out, Charity decides to join forces with Chas and considers stealing from Kim in a risky attempt to gather the cash. In scenes scheduled to air next Friday, Charity manages to secure part of the £100,000 and offers it to Todd as an initial payment. Despite receiving some of the money, Todd refuses to back down and issues a chilling warning. He tells Charity that unless the remaining balance is delivered by the following day, he will publicly expose the secret during Sarah's 21st birthday celebration. Knowing exactly what Todd is capable of, Charity fears he intends to carry out his threat. An Emmerdale source revealed that Todd is particularly skilled at exploiting people's vulnerabilities, making this situation especially painful for Charity. The insider added that having the truth revealed in such a public setting would be her worst nightmare. Sarah, meanwhile, would be left embarrassed and hurt despite being completely undeserving of such treatment. The source also suggested that exposing the secret at the birthday party would be another calculated move by Todd to create further trouble for Jacob. The question remains whether Todd will go through with his plan, or if Charity can somehow raise the remaining £100,000 before time runs out. The soap is broadcast on weekday evenings at 8 p.m. on ITV1, while episodes are also available to watch from 7 a.m. via ITVX and YouTube.